Hey guys, welcome to the first episode in my new series on competitive deck building. Whether you are a casual player looking to make the jump to competitive, or a competitive player looking to take a step back and review the basics of deck building, this is the video series for you. So make sure to hit the subscribe button so you can catch all future episodes. This episode is mostly going to be an introduction, and we're going to talk about resources you can use while deck building, and then net decking, the stigma behind it, and why you should be net decking. So first, the resources. This is mostly going to be for casual players who may not be aware of all the great resources we have in this community. Links to all of them are going to be in the description below. First of all, the Yu-Gi-Oh card database is hugely helpful. It is the official Yu-Gi-Oh database that contains every single card in the game, and there's a search function where you can manipulate a bunch of variables to search up a bunch of different cards according to whatever you want. So it's a great way to find new cards, and it's a great way to review cards that you may be only partially familiar with or are wanting to check up on whether it's been errated or not. Secondly, if you want to play online, I highly recommend YGO Pro Percy. It's up to date with link monsters, and it is an automatic system as opposed to being manual like Dueling Book. So it's really great for learning new decks, because you get to focus on your own and you can't accidentally do things that aren't legal. As far as resources to find decks that have been successful, TCGplayer.com does keep a fairly large number of the topping decks from regionals, championship series, ARGs, etc. They don't get every topping deck, but there's quite a few of them on there. And there's also the deck profiles and discussions on YouTube. There's a deck profile and or discussion on pretty much every single deck in the game that you could possibly think of. So make sure to check those out. With that out of the way, let's talk about net decking, or copying someone else's deck. In parts of the Yu-Gi-Oh community, there's a pretty large stigma about it, and many players consider it to be pretty much the worst thing you could possibly do, and that every Yu-Gi-Oh deck you make should be completely unique to you, and not copied from anywhere, no ideas taken from anyone else, etc., which is absolutely ridiculous, not only to a degree on the casual level, but especially at the competitive level, where we can still have fun, but ultimately for playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, we're playing to win. And that means that we want to refine things that we already know work, or the metagame. So we have to copy other people, at least at the beginning, in order to figure out what works already, instead of doing all that work ourselves. Sharing ideas and slowly refining the deck is the best way to find the best deck. And so if you completely ignore what everyone else is doing, then you're going to have to do all of that work yourself, which is not possible. And really, all of your deck building philosophies are based off of decks you've seen before anyway. So it's completely absurd to think that in some way you have created something totally unique to you, not based off of anything you've ever seen before. That's just not how it works. So don't be afraid to net deck, no matter what anyone says. It's extremely important that you learn based off of the successes of others. That is how the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! At the competitive level works. And quite frankly, even if you take someone else's deck card for card to a tournament, there isn't necessarily any real shame in that. If you're able to top with that deck, if you're able to pilot it, understand how it works, and you get top cut, who cares, really? You got the top. You won. If you aren't quite sure yet how to change the deck, or you're satisfied with it as is, then go ahead and take it, as long as that is the conscious decision you are making. Now, I do encourage you to try to change cards, because if you're net decking, that deck is old, and the meta changes week to week. Decks are constantly evolving, trying to be ahead of the curve, beat out all the competition. If you aren't doing that, you're behind. You're behind the curve. So you really do want to try to keep pace with the curve. But hey, I mean, if you aren't really sure what to do yet, honestly, just take the net deck to a tournament, and that can be a great way to figure out maybe what you think does need to change. I think that, especially early on in the deck building process, you probably should just be copying what someone else has done that was successful. Because you could throw together your own thing, not looking at anything, not referencing any other decks, and you could end up just coming out with a complete pile of garbage that's not very good, and you have to redo a lot of the work that someone else has already done for you. So don't do that. Please remember to net deck. This is a PSA to net deck. And build off of what other people have done. So that's pretty much, I guess, all I have to say in this first episode. Like I said, just an introduction, not a ton of substance, but we're going to be getting into some more stuff in future episodes. Once again, remember to subscribe to catch those future episodes. If you want me to talk about certain topics, go ahead and comment that in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next episode.